Every single time I go to your house, I feel like I see a new trophy, a new picture on a peak. Like, I always see just achievement after achievement after achievement, which is so awesome. You know, which achievement really stands out? Which one is the most meaningful to you?
The first marathon I ran by myself.
Which was?
Well, it wasn't official. Like, it was an unofficial marathon. But I just decided.
So you did this just completely on your own?
I decided to do it. I kind of started messing around with a training program back in 2021. Like the Peloton Marathon training program. And I was just messing with it. I'm like, yeah, I'll like do a couple weeks. And I got sucked into it. And I went through the whole training. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in the shape. I'm just gonna do it.
To ensure a family-friendly experience, we have edited any strong language in this video. Listen to the audio podcast version for an unadulterated, authentic, and enhanced experience. The Jonny and Hector Show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other popular podcasting platforms.
So August 1st, 2021, I ran my first marathon. It was super painful because I messed up the training. I did what you really shouldn't do, which is I was training on trails for most of it, which was my plan. My plan was the marathon I was going to run by myself was going to be a trail marathon. That was the plan. Well, I was traveling during this time. I was in Chicago with my dad, and I had to run a 16-mile run. There's not trails in Chicago, right? You're running on
buildings.
You're running on, at best, you're running on asphalt. So I'm running in Chicago. I'm running on concrete. I was training on dirt. Now, what most people tell you when like you're training and stuff, they're like, well, yeah, trail running is way harder than running on sidewalk. Well, I don't know. Everyone I talk to, like all the hardcore runners I talk to, they all prefer running trail because it's way easier on your body. I basically injured myself by doing 16 miles on concrete and I messed up my hip. So I was limping during my first marathon. I basically ran 16 miles, ironically. I got to mile 16 on my first marathon and I couldn't walk. Like I legitimately couldn't walk. But I told myself, you're gonna finish this even if you have to walk for the next 5 hours. You're gonna finish this marathon. Like I don't care. Like I don't care what the time is. I'm finishing this marathon. And I was in a ton of pain the whole time. For the last 10 miles, the marathon's 26 miles. So literally 16 miles in, I need to walk. And I walked the next 3 miles.
Interesting.
And then I start running again a little bit. But it was mile 21 where a friend of ours, Anthony, showed up. Like he told me, he's like, I'm gonna run with you. So he's like calling me. He's like, bro, I'm gonna run a few miles with you. Where are you at? And I told him where I was, and he ran. How he tells the story is he's like, bro, I didn't think you were gonna finish the marathon when I saw you. And I'm like, I didn't either. So I was running for a while until mile 25. I was limping like terrible. 24 to 25. But once I hit the 25 mark and I had a mile left, I ran the last mile. And that's just the crazy thing. I literally sprinted as fast as I possibly could in that moment with a messed up hit, the last mile. The second Strava turned to 26.2, I just fell down on the ground, broke down crying.
So you bring something up super interesting. So there's books, there's authors, there are motivational videos. Really well-known author, businessman Tim Ferriss, I believe talks about this as well, which is handling discomfort. I feel like there's a lot of people that when they would have gotten to that mile 16 and they had all that discomfort, they would have been like, I'm out. Like I'm done, right? Whether if it's discomfort or whatever their brain is telling them at the time, it's telling them to stop. You did something very unique. You did something very hard. You did something very different, which is you pushed through that discomfort. So walk us through that.
Well, first of all, it's a crazy thing. Our brains, and I'm not an expert at brain science. I've read a bunch of books about it. Read a bunch of running books. And there's this crazy thing where biologically, our brains are always holding us back, like biologically. because when you look at humans pre all this industry and TikTok and iPhones and all this BS, we had to like feed ourselves, okay? And also we had to protect ourselves. So our brains are literally built to always keep you safe. And how they do that is by making sure that you always have enough energy left to literally run away from a tiger. Like this is real. I'm not making this up. That is how our brains are set up. So when you're running, you can actually teach your brain to know that things are okay. My biggest takeaway from all this has been you put in the work today for the ease tomorrow. So when I was running that first marathon, I wasn't thinking, oh, well, my time isn't going to be very good. And this is how I think whenever I'm training now and it's hard, right? And there's a difference between something being hard and something almost causing injury. And that's something David Goggins talks about too, which is you have to know the limits. And it's different for everyone, right? David Goggins has run on broken legs and done all sorts of crazy shit. So you need to know your limits, but there's a big difference because your brain will protect you from both. It'll protect you from getting injured and it'll also make sure that you can outrun that lion. So you need to be able to decipher, is my brain trying to save me so I can outrun the lion later, or is it saying you're injured? And for me, when I did that first marathon, I was like, oh, it's definitely telling me I'm injured, so I don't want to go crazy, but I can walk 10 more miles and I'm gonna be fine. So I finished that so that the next marathon I ran would be easier, because when I've mentally pushed through it once, I can do it again. And it's the same thing with business, same thing with everything in life now, is whenever there's a challenge that makes you feel uncomfortable, when you haven't done something before, your brain always wants to protect you. It's not always to protect you from the tiger. A lot of times it's to protect you, it's to protect your ego, it's to protect your current world that you already know. We get very, very comfortable in it. And you can get very uncomfortable once you start pushing those boundaries. And that's why it's so important to push through these things.
Head over to the Jonny and Hector Show playlist on YouTube to keep watching, or listen to the audio version on Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.